Hello everyone, I'm excited to announce an event that has been a long time in the making. Shmup Slam 5, real life label, real life edition, IRL arrange, whatever you want to call it. Shmup Slam is returning next year, March 2022, but this time around I want to add an in-person element to the event where if you are so inclined, if you are of the pioneer style spirit, to come down and join me in Boise, Idaho, to take part in the real life edition of the event, take it to the street, get it off the internet to some degree. Though I will also say that this isn't going to be just like an exclusive gathering of people. It will also retain the online element as well. So for people who aren't able to travel out to the event, which I understand is most people because we're a huge international audience and traveling is not the easiest thing to do, there's still going to be online submissions and commentary and all that cool stuff from the previous events, so look forward to those opening up around December. But also, if you are so inclined to come out to the event, I think this is going to be very cool to meet my fellow Shmuppers in the flesh rather than over the internet, over the computer screen. I think it is a huge step going from internet into real life, and I do understand that. And so as far as expectations, just so people have a more clear mental picture, I am not imagining this to be like an AGDQ where there's hundreds of people and players and there's setups and volunteers and name badges and all that sort of thing. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a much more modest gathering of people. Like if you look at early videos of AGDQ, early videos of EVO, early videos of events before they became these big corporate mainstream things, they usually tended to be pretty small affairs that slowly gathered steam over time, and I'm having the same idea with Shmup Slam. I think hopefully if we get a fair number of people willing to travel and attend the event in person, that would be great precedent for what could come next year. But if not, that's totally fine. If it all turns out that no one wants to show up, then we can just revert back to the totally online model. But for now, what I want to do is I want to try my best to convince you, if you are so inclined, to come out to the event. I think it's also going to be really cool because there's been people around the shmup scene for so many years that I've talked to on a pretty much like weekly basis, but I've never met them in person. I think that would be really cool. And I know the transition, the leap from the online world to the real world is not an easy one for most people. It's not the 30% of the people who watch the event are going to show up. I do understand that the selection is probably going to be much more humble, but that's not a problem with me at all. And I think it's also maybe a good idea to begin the event on a smaller scale before, getting too ambitious. So I really do hope that this idea catches on just a little bit, because if we could make more IRL community-based events happening, I think this could go a long way at keeping people into the genre, connecting with the genre in a more tangible way than they had in the past, where in a lot of situations people get into shmups maybe for a month or two, then they sort of just move on with their lives. But having an event to go to, I think this is why speedrunning has grown the way it has. Honestly, I think stuff like GDQ, as crazy as it's been over the years, the fact that it's this big event has really kept speedrunning cemented in a way that I don't think would be possible otherwise. Same thing with EVO and all the fighting game events and everything. So if you are at all interested or at all serious about coming to the event in person, there is a link in the Reddit thread that I have here that goes to a survey that just kind of asks some basic questions about what you're planning and all that sort of stuff. And if you're not interested in coming to the in-person part of the event, have no fear, because in around December, that's when I'm going to open up the online submissions so you can submit to the event. And I'm thinking, since I'm scaling this up, ironically, the amount of online submissions probably will increase, because if I'm going out of my way to get a venue and all this sort of stuff, I'm probably just going to keep the event rolling for even longer than typical. So it could be the biggest Shmup Slam ever, even in online submissions. So don't be disheartened about the IRL status if you are just looking into the online aspect of the event, because I think that's also going to be pretty beefed up if all things go according to plan. So I'm excited. I hope you all check out the thread and let me know what you think. Adios, everyone.